My name is Ruby, and I'm here to tell you about the day I discovered my mother had burned my future to ashes. Literally. Ruby, sweetie, can you come downstairs? Mom called from the kitchen that spring afternoon when I was 17. I bounded down the stairs, my heart racing. Did the mail come? Any letters from the universities? Yes, honey, sit down. Her voice was too calm, too controlled. I have news about your applications. I sat at the kitchen table, my hands trembling. I'd applied to 12 universities, with full scholarship applications to each one. My 4.0 GPA, my volunteer work, my essay about being a first-generation college student. I'd worked so hard. Ruby, I'm so sorry. Mom placed her hand over mine. You were rejected by all of them. What? All 12? My voice cracked. That's impossible. My counselor said with my grades. I know you worked hard, but competition is fierce, she said, squeezing my hand. Maybe college isn't meant to be right now. You could work at the diner with me, save some money, and try again next year. Can I see the letters? I asked, my throat tight. I already threw them away, she said quickly. No point dwelling on bad news. Besides, your sister Emma will be applying next year. We need to focus on making sure she has better luck. Something felt wrong. The way she wouldn't meet my eyes, the way her hand trembled slightly. But I was too devastated to question it. I don't understand, I whispered. Harvard's admissions officer told me my interview went amazingly. These schools lead people on, honey. It's cruel, but that's how they operate. Mom stood and started washing dishes. I talked to Bill at the diner. He said he'd give you full-time hours starting next week. Next week? But I haven't even… Ruby, you need to be realistic, she interrupted. Not everyone is college material. There's no shame in honest work. I ran to my room and cried for hours. My Aunt Linda called that evening. Hey, Ruby! I wanted to congratulate you on your acceptance letters. Aunt Linda's voice was bright with excitement. What are you talking about? I sat up, wiping my tears. Your mother told me last week that several schools were sending acceptance letters this week, she explained. She was so proud, said you'd probably get into at least 5 or 6. My blood ran cold. Aunt Linda, what exactly did Mom say? She said the financial aid offices had called, that you were getting full rides from multiple schools. She even mentioned Harvard specifically. Ruby, what's wrong? Mom told me today that I was rejected by everyone. Silence. Then, that doesn't make sense. Why would she tell me one thing and you another? I don't know, but I'm going to find out, I said. Do you want me to come over? Aunt Linda asked. Not yet. Let me check something first. I'll call you back. That night I waited until Mom went to bed. Then I went through the trash, the recycling, every bin in the house. Nothing. The next morning, while Mom was at work, I searched her bedroom. In the back of her closet, inside a shoebox, I found them. 12 unopened envelopes from universities. My hands shook as I opened the first one. Dear Ruby, congratulations. We are pleased to offer you admission to Harvard University with a full scholarship. One by one I opened them. Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT, Princeton, Columbia. Every single one. Acceptance letters with full scholarships. I called Aunt Linda immediately. She lied, I told her, my voice shaking with rage. She has all 12 acceptance letters hidden in her closet. Full scholarships. Every single one. That's mail tampering, Ruby. That's a federal crime, Aunt Linda said, her voice hard. We're calling my lawyer friend Marcus Chen right now. Don't touch anything else. Take photos of everything exactly where you found it. Tell me everything from the beginning, Marcus Chen said, sitting across from me in Aunt Linda's living room the next day. I explained the whole story while he took notes. Why would she do this? Why would my own mother sabotage me like this? Did your mother ever express concerns about you leaving for college? Marcus asked. She always said we needed my help at home, I replied. My dad left when I was 10, and she's raised Emma and me alone. She wanted me to work at the diner to help with bills. So financial control, Aunt Linda said. She wanted you earning money instead of going to college. There's more, I admitted. Last month, I overheard her on the phone with her sister. She said, Ruby thinks she's better than us just because she's smart. She needs to learn her place. Marcus leaned forward. Ruby, your mother committed mail fraud by tampering with your correspondence. These were legal documents, acceptance letters, and financial aid offers. We need to act quickly because universities need confirmation of attendance by specific deadlines. What do I do? I asked. First, we document everything with photographs, showing the letters in their hiding place, Marcus explained. Second, we contact the universities immediately and explain the situation. Third, we file a report with postal inspectors. This is a federal offense. Will she go to jail? The thought made my stomach turn despite everything. Possibly, but that's up to prosecutors, Marcus said. Our priority is getting you into school this fall and ensuring she faces consequences for what she's done. Can you get me those photos today? I already took them this morning, I said, pulling out my phone. Before I moved anything. Smart girl, Marcus said, reviewing the images. These are perfect. Now I need you to think carefully. Are you prepared for what comes next? Your mother will likely deny everything. She might try to manipulate you. Can you stay strong? After what she did? I looked him in the eye. Absolutely. Aunt Linda squeezed my shoulder. You can stay with me as long as you need, Ruby. You're not going back to that house. What about Emma? I asked. She's only 15. I can't just leave her there. Emma needs to know the truth, Aunt Linda said. Your mother might try to poison her against you. We should tell her together. That afternoon, Marcus made calls to all 12 universities, while I sat nervously beside him. Yes, Dean Williams, it's a case of parental mail tampering, Marcus said into the phone. The student's mother intercepted and hid acceptance letters. Yes, we have photographic evidence. The student is still very interested in attending. I understand. Thank you. He hung up and smiled at me. Harvard's Dean Patricia Williams wants to speak with you directly. They're extending your acceptance deadline by 30 days and have flagged your account for special circumstances. My hands shook as I dialed the number Marcus gave me. Ruby, I'm appalled by what happened to you, Dean Williams said when I introduced myself. Can you send me documentation of the tampering? Yes, ma'am. My lawyer is preparing everything right now. Good. I'm also contacting our legal department, she continued. What your mother did may violate federal law. Are you planning to press charges? I hesitated. I don't know yet. Part of me wants to, but she's still my mother. You don't have to decide now, Dean Williams said kindly. But Ruby, I want you to know. Harvard wants you. Your application was one of the strongest we received this year. We're going to make sure you can attend this fall. We're also setting up an emergency fund to help with your transition expenses. Thank you so much, I said, tears streaming down my face. This means everything to me. After I hung up, I looked at Marcus and Aunt Linda. 10 other schools said similar things. They're all holding my spots and want me to attend. See? Aunt Linda smiled. Your mother tried to bury you, but you're rising from the ashes. Speaking of your mother, Marcus said, we need to confront her with this evidence. I recommend doing it with witnesses present. Myself, your aunt, and possibly your sister Emma if she's ready to hear the truth. Let's do it tonight, I said. I'm done hiding. We waited in the living room when Mom came home from work. Emma sat beside me, already knowing the truth. Ruby, why is your aunt here? Who's this man? Mom asked nervously. Mom, sit down, I said firmly. We need to talk about my college acceptance letters. The ones you hid from me. Her face went pale. I don't know what you're... Don't lie! I pulled out my phone. I found them. 12 acceptance letters. Full scholarships. You told me I'd been rejected by everyone. I was trying to protect you, Mom said desperately. You're not ready. I'm Marcus Chen, an attorney, Marcus interrupted. Ms. Anderson, you've committed mail fraud. That's a federal offense carrying up to 5 years in prison. I needed you here, Mom shouted at me. After your father left, you're all I have. You have Emma too, my sister said. But Ruby told me everything, Mom. How you planned this for months. You're a liar. Emma, stay out of this, Mom snapped. No, Emma said. You're wrong and Ruby deserves justice. I raised you girls alone, Mom cried. I gave up everything. Ruby owes me. I don't owe you my life, I shouted. 4 years of straight A's, hundreds of volunteer hours, that was my work. You had no right. Karen, what you did was cruel and illegal, Aunt Linda said coldly. You were jealous of your own daughter. Mom turned to me, tears streaming. Ruby, please. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Don't do this. I'm your mother. A mother doesn't sabotage her child's dreams, I said firmly. I'll make it right. I'll call the schools. Too late, Marcus said. I've contacted all 12 universities. They've extended Ruby's deadlines and several want to pursue legal action against you. You can't do this, Mom cried. She's my daughter. Mail fraud isn't a family matter, Marcus replied. It's a federal crime. Let's discuss your options, Miss Anderson, Marcus said, opening his briefcase. Ruby can file charges, or you can sign a settlement agreement right now. What agreement? Mom asked. First, you write formal apologies to each university, Marcus explained. Second, you pay Ruby $15,000. Third, no contact with Ruby for 1 year. Fourth, mandatory counseling for your control issues. $15,000? Mom gasped. I don't have that. Payment plan. Get a second job, Aunt Linda said. You stole Ruby's future. Pay it back. And if I refuse? Mom asked. We file charges tonight, Marcus said simply. The postal inspector was very interested. The charges stack up quickly. Mom looked at Emma. Emma, tell your sister this is crazy. Emma shook her head. No, Mom. What you did was wrong. And I'm scared. If you do this to Ruby, what will you do when I apply to colleges? Emma, I would never. That's what Ruby thought, Emma interrupted. So yeah, I'm on her side. What else is in the settlement? I asked Marcus. 12 therapy sessions with monthly reports, Marcus continued. Miss one session, the deal's void and charges proceed. This is blackmail, Mom protested. No, this is justice, I said. You committed a crime. Take the deal or face prison. Dean Williams called right then. I answered on speaker. Ruby, I wanted your mother to hear this directly, Dean Williams said sternly. Miss Anderson, what you did was unconscionable. Harvard's legal team will press charges if Ruby chooses. However, we want what's best for Ruby, getting her here this fall without trial stress. See, Mom, I said, this isn't vindictive. What you did was seriously illegal. Mom slumped, defeated. What do I have to do? Marcus slid papers across the table. Read carefully. Payments, apology letters, therapy, no contact order. Mom read slowly, hands shaking. If I sign, you won't press charges? If you fulfill every term, Marcus confirmed. Violate anything. Miss therapy, skip payments, contact Ruby. The deal's off and charges proceed. I want to hear Ruby say she won't forgive me, Mom said. I met her eyes. I won't forgive you. Not now, maybe not ever. You tried to kill my dreams because of your insecurities. You wanted me small so you'd feel needed. That's not love. That's control. I love you, Ruby, Mom sobbed. Love doesn't sabotage, I said coldly. Sign the papers or don't. Either way, I'm going to Harvard in August. Mom signed with shaking hands. Marcus notarized everything. First payment due in 2 weeks, Marcus said. No direct contact unless Ruby initiates. Come on, girls, Aunt Linda said. I've got your rooms ready. Emma's coming too? I asked. I'm not staying here, Emma said firmly. Aunt Linda said I could stay until college. Emma, please, Mom reached out. Get help, Mom, Emma said, pulling away. Maybe someday we can talk, but not now. We walked out. Behind us, Mom cried alone. 2 weeks later, the first payment arrived. 6 months later, Mom completed all therapy sessions. 1 year later, she asked if we could talk. I wasn't ready. Now I'm thriving at Harvard studying pre-law. Dean Williams became my mentor. I want to help kids whose parents try to control their futures. Emma visits monthly and applies to colleges now, to Aunt Linda's address. Mom completed everything. Every payment, every session, heartfelt apologies to all 12 schools. Her therapist says she's making progress. She asked to meet last week. I said maybe next month. Forgiveness isn't something I owe her, but I'm reclaiming my life on my terms. I chose justice over revenge, legal action over retaliation, my future over her control, and it feels amazing. Have you ever had a parent try to sabotage your success because of their own insecurities? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.